The following is a production of White Lightning Entertainment. This is Burning Rubber Radio.
And the 41 still isn't moving.
I don't see any way NASCAR laid some race by this.
And there's the caution. Larson's going to do it. Larson is going to win the Brickyard 400.
Brickyard 400, baby. Hell yeah. What's up, guys?
Burning Rubber Radio is brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching. It's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. Now from the White Lightning Entertainment Studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here's your host, Andy DeLay.
And it's not Andy DeLay, but a big old burning rubber, baby. It's producer Wayne hanging out with you. The NASCAR chef John Dix this week. And John, I swear, I feel skinnier when Andy's not here.
I don't know why that would be, Wayne. You know, Andy's probably losing some weight because I think he's chasing that duck around somewhere.
Yeah, he called me right before the recording started. He was getting ready to walk into the studio, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh, that damn duck, he's been run off again." I'm like, and at that point, I just said, "You know what? You go have fun chasing the duck." I wanted to call in Buford T. Justice like we did last week to see if he could, maybe apprehend Mr. Duck.
Or Andy for chasing him, one or the other.
That too. And but I tell you what, though, something that has blown my mind here as of late, John, is the controversy surrounding the Brickyard from this past weekend, and there was quite a bit of it. We'll touch on all of that coming up here in News of the Week coming up in just a few moments. But real quickly here, we do want to get to our sponsors of the show here and talk about Drive Refine. First and foremost, we cannot forget Drive Refine. Joey Coulter was here with us last week too, and that was a lot of fun as well. And so again, folks, Drive Refine, go over to driverefine.com and sign up today for, again, it is driver coaching, but it's also driver development as well, because it not only makes you more apt to be able to communicate with your crew chief, but your team, your teammates, just everybody in general. It's a highly recommended thing. And I look at it this way. If Joey can get Andy a top 5 in a sim race, he can work miracles on anybody.
Well, Wayne, you and I got to see it firsthand last year at Hickory. We had Bobby Dell and Alex Pacone there, and who was it? Austin was there and helping out, and I was impressed by how he worked with the drivers and helped them out. So, like Wayne said, guys, look up Drive Refine and give them a shout and give them a try.
Yep, and the best part is it's not just driver coaching; it's Drive Refine.
Drive Refine.
He's trying to take Andy's bit already. I like this.
Quack, quack.
My God in hell. And with that said, our other sponsors here of the show this week, the folks over at iRacing, make sure you go over to iRacing.com and sign up today. And if memory serves correctly, brand new users still get a 1-month free trial before you renew at $9.99 a month. And again, great platform all the way around. Honestly, as long as you've got a computer with a pretty high-end graphics card, folks, not going to lie, the racing looks just as if you'd be seeing it in real life. That's how good the graphics quality is with iRacing. So, again, iRacing.com. Make sure you go get signed up today for the world's premier online motorsports simulation. And then our last sponsor, MyPillow. Make sure you go over to MyPillow.com and use the code BRR at checkout. That's MyPillow.com/BRR. Use the promo code BRR at checkout to get your order shipped for free. Or in Andy's case, make sure you get it delivered for free. And also, take advantage of the big $25 mega sale they got going on. And, not getting political here, but Mike Lindell was actually at the RNC this past weekend, and I had a chance to listen to an interview that he did, and he was talking about all the different things that are getting ready to come out in the MyPillow store, as well as stuff that's going on sale. So, folks, again, MyPillow.com/BRR and use the promo code BRR at checkout to get your order shipped and delivered for free.
Or delivered.
Yeah, shipped and delivered, because technically they ship it and then it gets delivered. So
there you go.
Either which way.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, trust me, I know Andy would lambaste me over doing that, but you know what? I really don't care. But somebody here actually, and he just popped on a set of headphones. Is that Taylor Burris I see over there?
I think it is.
Oh my God, Taylor, where the heck have you been, son? Okay, I think he went dead on us here. Where's that mic button?
Hello.
Oh my God, Taylor's here. Taylor!
Turn his mic on, Wayne. Come on now.
I know. I saw you messing with the button over there. Don't you be lying to the great people out there in listener land. I saw you.
Uh-huh, sure you did. Oh, man. But, the joys we have in acting like juveniles on this show. Isn't that right, John?
That's right. So, Taylor, what's going on, brother?
Well, we are been busy working away pretty much. I mean, the world of dirt racing has been going ecstatically crazy here in the state of Texas. I mean, everywhere you look, you have a dirt race happening every weekend here. I mean, just got back from Cotton Bowl Speedway, about 40 minutes up. We had the South Texas IMCA Modifieds make their return to Cotton Bowl Speedway, and pretty exciting night. And then here in a couple of weeks, I got to make an 8-hour drive to Amarillo, Texas. Yes, I live on one side. I got to go all the way to the other side for the IKF, the International Karting Federation Nationals at the Amarillo Kartplex, as we will be giving out some historical Duffies for the winners of those events.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong, real quick here, because we're a little short on time. But if I'm not mistaken, Cotton Bowl Speedway, isn't that just the big old dirt bowl outside I-35?
Pretty much. I mean, it's just not too far from about 2 hours from San Antonio, about an hour from Austin. So you're looking at one of the premier dirt tracks that the famous World of Outlaws will go to, have their fun during the middle of the year.
Very true. Well, I'll tell you what, Taylor, hold that thought. We're going to take ourselves that first pit stop of the show here, folks. But when we come back, we have got a whole plethora of news of the week to talk about. We've got some controversy at the Brickyard from this past weekend. We've got drag racing. We have Formula One. We've got IndyCar. We have got it all for you this week here on Burning Rubber. So stay tuned. Taking a pit stop. We'll be right back.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on X at twitter.com/BRR_radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber. Producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix, and special guest Taylor Burris is in the house.
Yay! You can't see me, but you can hear me. That's all that matters.
Yeah, right. We got the we didn't think anybody else was coming in this week, so we didn't bother to set up the normal third camera that we have for Andy. So it is what it is. But
I saw the white lightning strike across the sky here in the heart of Texas, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just go and make a stop appearance.
Well, you know what? It's kind of funny how that works out because I've been streaking across North Carolina. Oh, wait a minute, that didn't.
Wait a minute.
Family show. We don't need those visual images, but we're glad to have you, Taylor. We're glad to have you, brother.
Good to be back here to make an appearance.
I mean, and realistically though, John, I mean, you know, like I said, I've been looking at it on camera here. I am skinnier with Andy not here. Like it's like 50 pounds of stress just fell off.
Oh goodness, you poor thing.
Oh, good night, Gracie. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. We've got speaking of stress and controversy, and a whole plethora of things going on from this past weekend at the Brickyard 400. Thank God NASCAR brought that back. Because I'm sorry, the Indy Road Course was just absolute trash factory. Was not a fan of it.
Okay, well, let's say this. It had its purpose because, let's be honest, people were not happy about the NASCAR Cup Series racing on the oval for God knows how many years.
The fact is, people just aren't happy in general.
Pretty much. That's
just
my
how
biggest
it goes.
thing, because people are going to complain, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of the complaining. You know,
Right.
people go to these races, we go there, have a good time, and then they find the most weirdest things. Granted, I get controversy, drama, all that mess. But I'm sorry if I'm going to have to go on a rant here, because I've been listening to, some of my other favorite shows also besides BRR, and wanting to say this. Yes, the officials could have probably done something different with the incident that happened on the final lap.
Right.
Should they throw the caution when that car was moving? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, overall, you shouldn't complain about it every single time a drop of the hat, especially like these conspiracy people who are saying, oh, they did it because Kyle Larson didn't win the 500, so they're giving him the Brickyard.
Right.
No, they are not.
No, not at all.
He won because he beat everybody pretty much there. Did he have the fastest car? 50-50. I mean, there was people who were looking at Brad Kay.
I mean, Brad Kay could have had it too. Blaney could have had it.
Brad Kay could have had it. Ryan Blaney could have had it. I mean, what about the controversy if Ryan Blaney would have won? Oh, it's because it's Roger Penske's track.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, whether you look at it one way or another, people are going to
there's only
what and complain.
There's only one solution for that, and it would be
Exactly. Just shut up and watch cars go around in circles.
Yep.
That's what we came here to do, and that's what we're going to do.
Exactly.
Well, Elton Sawyer put out a statement, and I thought he explained it pretty well. He just said, we were watching the 41 car, and he said, we don't want to end the race under a caution. We want the competitors to finish the job. He said, but we watched it. We were hoping it was going to move, and it didn't. And for safety, we had to throw the caution. So it is what it is,
Yep.
Let's just say, let's say this. And I know this is a big what if, per se. Let's say they didn't throw the caution. Let's say they come out of turn 2. Okay? And let's say the leaders or someone in the mid-pack get together. There's another car down there on the bottom of the racetrack. We know for a fact stuff like that can happen on the last lap. Go watch a race at Talladega, Daytona, anything like that matter.
100%.
So it's all about safety.
Yep.
And people need to realize that for the most part. Granted, I get it. I was wanting a green flag finish. But the thing is, you got to respect NASCAR wanting to be safe to the drivers, to the safety crews that are out there, because safety crews are probably checking in on that driver as well if they get the chance.
Yep.
So you got to be careful with that stuff and respect the fact that's why they made the call. It's all for safety.
Well, Absolutely. and not only that too, but then you also have drivers like Brad Kay who were, for lack of a better term, bitching and complaining. And I'm just being honest here for a second. And don't get me wrong, he had a car that could have easily won this past weekend at Indianapolis. However, much like many others, they short pitted way too late in the race, or way too soon in the race towards the end of it, where he did not have enough fuel to get him through to the end. So the fact that he had to pull down pit road literally as they were taking the green flag because he was out of fuel, that is not on Larson, that's not on NASCAR, that's not on anybody.
That's on the
That
driver
is
and the
purely
crew.
on failed pit strategy is what that is.
Absolutely, guys. I've always said that the ones that run out of gas, everybody feels sorry for them. But you know how they got up to the lead? By not stopping in the pits. Hello.
Exactly. That's exactly it. But either which way, congrats to Kyle Larson. Young Money getting the win this past weekend at
I wouldn't call him young anymore.
Well,
guy's almost a few years older than I am. So,
dude, he's younger than me, so he's still Young Money. So,
okay.
Either which
everybody's
way,
younger than me, so
True.
You're just old cannon string. That can's got enough rust on it, John. You need to get it changed.
hey.
Get the WD-40 out, guys.
Yeah,
Hey, I turned 70 last week, guys, and I'm still glad to be here.
Amen to that.
We are glad you're still here with us.
Amen to that. But moving into the world of the Xfinity Series now here, and boy, I'll tell you what, John, Stewart-Haas might be terminating operation at the end of 2024, but I don't think they were going to go. They weren't going to let themselves just roll over and die on this one here. It was a 1-2 finish for SHR and Xfinity this past weekend.
Absolutely, and I was happy for him. I texted Zippy right after that and congratulated him, and he was really happy, and I was happy for them. They need that. Cole Custer needed that.
Yep.
They all need that, and there's a lot going on with that team. I've worked with that team before. I know a lot of them personally, and I know their heart right now is sad for what is happening, but I think that Saturday made up for them, and I'm happy for all of them.
Agreed, and that's 2 SHR wins back to back now in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, guys, good news is, Gene Haas is still going to be committed to NASCAR. Thankfully, he's not going away. He's keeping his 2 Xfinity cars, and then he's keeping one of the Cup rides, which is phenomenal. And I have to say, Cole Custer, with the way he's been racing, now that he gets a chance to basically reinstate himself into the Cup Series 2025, he's looking to be a contender possibly, especially with the alliance that he will have with RFK Racing.
Absolutely.
That is true. But now, granted, I mean, obviously Roush Fenway has not been all that great this year, but you know what? Between Brad K and realistically, more or less Buescher, because I mean, Chris has had better finishes than Brad has throughout most of the season this year. And 2025 is going to prove to be an interesting year to see what happens with, Haas Automation and RFK Racing as far as any partnerships go.
Don't forget, of course, Rick Ware Racing too.
That too with Rick Ware, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And who knows? It could be the year that Cole Custer actually does something really good in the Cup Series. But time will tell, and we'll see what happens when that comes about. Moving into the Craftsman Truck Series here, and Ty Majeski does not fail to impress yet again this past weekend as he makes a successful back-to-back wins at the Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Absolutely. Great drive for him. That now finally punches his ticket into the playoffs later this year, because he was on the outside looking in.
Yeah, he really was. Right. He definitely was on the outside looking in. And something else, too, that I actually saw, some interesting news here for coming up, because granted, we've got 2 weeks now in between events. So Indy being the last event for the next 2 weeks, and then we come back right after the 1st of August here, and we'll be going to Richmond Raceway for the night race, if I'm not mistaken, actually. And so not only do we have the night race coming up at Richmond, but Richard Petty is going to be there as the Grand Marshal for the Truck Series, John.
Yeah. That's what I heard too, Wayne, and that's great. Seeing Richard down there with the truck guys and back at the track. A lot of people out there don't know I cooked for Stewart-Haas for a while, and the last few years I cooked for him. You didn't see Richard around the track as much as you used to, and I used to see him all the time. And I'm glad to see him back and probably doing better. He was probably like me, getting old as dirt, but glad to see
he's older than you are. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know that. He's about the only person that's not younger than I am. But
this God, Richard Petty, then John.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, that sounds about right. Actually, no. You have God, Red Farmer, Richard Petty, John Dix.
There you go. Our buddy Red. Yep. Anyway, so I met Richard before, and just a nice gentleman. I mean, I'm sure all of us have, and you can't ask for a better ambassador for the sport.
I mean, granted, I've yet to meet Richard. Maybe it's on the bucket list for one day, but who knows what the future holds for that possibility. But with that said, though, folks, actually, I'll tell you what. Speaking of folks that you don't see on the racetrack much anymore, but you see them on the TV. We're going to go and take that next pit stop here, and when we come back, John, we've got a friend of yours, a friend of Zippy's, a friend of Smoke's, and that being one Hal Shaffer of the Outdoor Channel, and a cool couple of shows, actually, that he's got on the Outdoor Channel here, and also has a good bit of a racing background too. So I think that conversation is going to be a lot of fun when we get into that here in just a little bit. But like I said, for the time being, we're going to step aside, take the next pit stop, and when we come back, folks, don't you dare go anywhere. Hal Shaffer's going to be joining us.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Visit us online at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back. It's Burning Rubber, producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix. Andrew DeLay ran away. John, can you believe it?
I know. I think Andy's chasing that duck somewhere. I don't know where the hell
he's doing something with that damn duck. I don't know what the hell he's got going on, but hey, you know what? The best part is we don't have to worry about hearing that quack this week. So.
Oh, I hear you.
Folks, again, if you're new to Burning Rubber, like say if this is your first ever show watching us, go back and check out some of the archives on YouTube, on Rumble, on pretty well, I would say on radio stations across the country, but they only air the newest episode that comes out every week, so it wouldn't do you any good there. But Rumble and YouTube, you can see the unedited versions of what Burning Rubber has to offer, including Andy's duck, my Muttley, whatever comes to mind some days. And but we have got to get on to our featured guest of the week here, and John, this is a guy that I remember hearing about in the history books back in the 90s as I was growing up as a young race fan, and he's been involved in NASCAR, he's been involved in dirt racing, he now is more on the TV side of things with your buddy Greg Zipadelli. And I would be remiss, honestly, I'd be remiss if we didn't have him on the show, and that being Hal Shaffer. Hal, welcome, brother.
Man, it is awesome to be here on Burning Rubber. I mean, what better way to start off your day?
Hey, you know what? I couldn't have said it any better. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that piece of audio for later down the line. So one joking question to get started here. When you listen to Boomhauer, that sounds a lot like John, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Nailed
it. John and his cannon string, right? But
yeah, Hal, they tease me being from Alabama. I use a cannon string over here, and that actually is about my technology level as well. So.
It literally is.
Well, I'm an Alabama boy too. I'm a high-tech redneck, but I'm a Roll Tide guy through and through.
Roll Tide, baby.
Alabama runs deep in my blood right now.
Roll Tide, baby.
Absolutely, Roll Tide.
And I can honestly say I've been a proud Roll Tide fan since before Saban showed up. So I'm not one of those follow the crowd kind of guys, thankfully.
No, sir. I've been Roll Tide through bad times when the tide wouldn't come in.
Yep.
So we thought the world was ending. But no, I'm a big Roll Tide, and are very fortunate to actually do business with the University of Alabama, and very excited about this upcoming year. I think Kalen DeBoer is going to shock the world. He already has, because he's out recruiting everybody right now. So he's already showing what he's made of. But no, man, proud of where I'm from. Proud to be on this call with a couple of Roll Tide buddies. There ain't nothing like it.
No, there definitely ain't. Now the thing we really got to get right though before we actually get into all the fun with the interview here, we have got to get Bryce Young an offensive line up here in Carolina, because he needs a lot of Roll Tide help.
Boy, I'm going to tell you, if they could give that guy an extra 2 seconds, he'd turn the world on fire. He still is just every bit as good as he was. But, man, you can't throw the ball when you're laying flat.
Nope.
It's hard to do it horizontal, you know. We got to keep that boy vertical, and they're just going to have to build something around him.
That they are, because I'm sorry, and folks, I know we're a motorsports show, and you're probably thinking, why are they talking football? Well, because we can, and the fact is that football ties more into racing than people realize, because a lot of your D1 athletes are pit crew guys.
Pit crew guys, 100%.
And actually, it's funny that we bring that up too, because Hal, you yourself, my friend, back in the '80s, you were on a pit crew. Doing stuff for Mike Stalling, and I'm curious, how did you get into the world of motorsport? Because I don't imagine you were that D1 conversion athlete, were you?
No, I was not. I actually was in Monroe, North Carolina. Drove to a car wash, and there was a guy there had 3 different race car rolling chassis there that he was washing at the car wash.
Oh, wow.
Because the water was out at his race shop, and had to get them ready to prep for upcoming races, and asked me if I'd help him roll them in. Ended up talking to Mark for, 2 hours that afternoon and helping him, and started coming over and hanging out, and then next thing I know, I started working with him and for him, and boy, that was back in. That was heyday. When I was changing tires, there was no pit road speed, though. I'm going to tell you, it took a little bravery to get out there.
Yep.
Them cars coming past you at 140, 150 miles an hour at the end of pit road. So it was a different animal, but boy, it was a great experience.
Well, and I tell you what, we hear it from Jeff Hammond all the time, because we're buddies with Hammond and Larry Mack, and this is another name you might recognize too, Coach Wayne DeLoria. We're friends with all those guys, and so we've heard the stories, back in the day when literally the pit sign was you standing out in the pit box and 100%. Praying to God that they would actually stop on time and not make you a hood ornament.
Yeah, the pit stops were a little slower back then. We didn't have the athletes on pit road that we have now, nor did we have the technology.
Right.
But it was still. It was still just as much effort across the board, right? And maybe even a little more because you didn't have the advancements that you have now. And by the way, Jeff Hammond's a good buddy of mine. He was over at the house for New Year's. We were celebrating in the Bucks and Bourbon Garage Bar. So we had a lot of fun. That's a good dude right there. Big outdoorsman, big hunter, and just a really good guy.
Now the Bucks and Bourbon Garage Bar, you said something right there that just perked up my ears with bourbon. So how does one get into this Bucks and Bourbon Garage Bar?
Come to the house. We built it. So I have this great big truck that won't fit in the garage, right? My wife's car always got in the garage, so I never could get mine in the garage. So I told my wife, since I can't get mine in the garage, I'm going to use my half of the garage for something else, and I built a bar in it, so that's where we come up with Bucks and Bourbon Garage Bar. And I've been collecting bourbon just like Zippy for a long time.
Okay, well then I must ask them, what is your favorite bourbon currently?
The just the go-to. I would say Everyday Sipper, Russell's 10-year reserve.
Okay, good stuff. Now, Mike. Now here's another good one. Have you tried Jim Beam's Red Stag yet?
Oh, yeah, that is really good.
Oh, I love me some Red Stag. Woo! All right, so I'll tell you what, it's official. When we get off the air here, I'm gonna get the information, and I'm gonna be coming over to the Bucks and Bourbon Bar so that we can have some Red Stag.
Yeah, absolutely. The drinking prices are really cheap here. They're free. So, and we've got lots of good bourbon sitting on the wall. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time here. Zip's been over here multiple times. We've had many, many good times at Bucks and Bourbon Garage Bar. We even got an Instagram page, Bucks and Bourbon Garage Bar.
Well, all righty then. Well, I'll tell you what.
That's pretty cool.
I'll tell you what, it's 100% confirmed. That's one trip to Denver I will enjoy making.
Come on, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide,
baby.
Well, Hal, speaking of Zippy, tell the listeners out there how you and Zippy got together.
Wow, back in 2005, back in 2005, his engineer, Jim Strausser, was a friend of somebody that knew us from Hunting the World, Southern Style, the TV show I had back then, and said, hey, you ought to take Zippy on a hunt. Well, I'm an unbelievable giant NASCAR fan. I mean, there's two things up top. There's NASCAR, and there's hunting, and then there's Alabama football. That's my three pinnacles right there. Family before those three. I got my stuff in order, but those are my three passions in life. But so I took him on a hunt. I was like excited. I'm taking, Zippy. He was really making a name for himself back then. So it was really exciting to have him out there. Tony Stewart was fresh on the scene and making a lot of waves. And so he went on a hunt with me, and we spent 3 days together in a deer blind in Kentucky and just, hit it off. And Zippy ended up shooting a 10-pointer, and I literally had to track the deer for probably a little over a mile. It was a 4-hour tracking job, and he was really impressed that I was able to find the deer at that point, and I was really impressed that he thought I was that good because I was just that lucky.
That's not so much luck. That's just dedication.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is guys, some of my best friendships that I have, actually most every one of them was made in the outdoors.
Right.
It's just a bunch of like-minded, nature-loving people who really enjoy that ability to get away, you know. So Zip's got that same love and desire. Most people don't know that he has as much desire for being outdoors as he almost does to being a part of the racing community. So, man, we just hit it off great, and then we ended up taking Tony Stewart on a hunt. We went to Texas down to our friends down there with Rush Trucking, and we had an amazing hunt down there, but it was so funny. This was back in the Joe Gibbs days, and Jimmy Maycar was on what they call a high rack, and we were out hunting, and me and Tony and Zip were on another high rack, and we were having a good morning out hunting, and all of a sudden I looked over and I said, dude, I said, Rusty, who was Rusty Rush, I said, Rusty, where's all that smoke over there for? And about that time his phone rang, and he says, oh my gosh, he says, we the new high rack, we just caught it on fire, and they went to pick up an animal that they had harvested, drove it into the brush, brand new, $100,000+ high rack Suburban, and that thing burnt to the ground.
Oh, no.
It burnt some of their guns. I mean, lost about 100 acres of stuff. And Rusty just said, all right, it's time for some tequila. and he never even got mad. He has $100,000 vehicle burnt, and he took it with stride. And
I was going to say, what better way to celebrate a burn?
We filmed it. The name of that TV show, it was Where There's Smoke, There's Fire.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Where there's a smoke here, there's bound to be a bear somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Exactly.
So, Hal, tell us about what you got going on with the University of Alabama, brother.
Well, so it's really a funny story. I don't know if you guys, most Alabama fans know who Roll Tide Willie is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vaguely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he's an internet sensation, and they invited me to come down there and do a hunt with Roll Tide Willie. They're a bunch of friends that Drop Zone down there. They know I'm a giant Alabama fan. So I went down there, and we hunted and hung out and got the backstory on old Roll Tide Willie. And they had known me because everybody calls me Halabama. Instead of Alabama, they call me Halabama. And so they took me up, and we went to the university, and the university just opened their arms up, and they took me in, and just like they were recruiting me, took me through the whole athletic facility. It sent chills down my back. It is so much history, so much accomplishments. I mean, yeah, let's face it, they're the GOAT of college football. Nick Saban's the GOAT, Alabama's the GOAT. I mean, nobody's got 18 national championships sitting in a row anywhere, and to go in there and see 18 rings in a thing and be able to rotate them and look at them, and then all the trophies, and then I mean, the facility is unbelievable. So we get through with all that, and Paul Mills, the marketing guy there, goes, Hal, he goes, it's just too much luck that, you know, that you're here and we have a need. And he said they had been struggling to get some of the bigger camo companies to give them a finished product because they want to start marketing Crimson Tide Outdoors. And because you got to think about it, people that love Alabama football, about 85 to 90% of them are all outdoorsmen. I mean, that's just who they relate to, the good old Southern boys. And so I said, they asked me if I would help them and develop them some camo patterns for the University of Alabama. And I said, absolutely. And we went back and worked on it for about a month and got them some really, with all the knowledge that I'm able to obtain over, you know, my life in the outdoors, create them some really good working camo patterns that I think stand out from the stuff that's out there, but really at the heart of it have Alabama in it. So we supplemented the A in there where you could see it. And the first pattern's called Tusk. And so I went and got elephant skin, and we put that in the background and then started laying our camo in there, you know, our colors and stuff over top of that. So we named the whole camouflage system Hide the Tide. And so now we've got a Hide the Tide apparel that is coming out for the whole university. We've got some of their star athletes that is wearing it on campus right now, and it is like everybody is screaming, wanting this camo pattern, all the student body and all this. We have the big launch October 26th at the Missouri game. It's big times, man. It's a lot of fun. It's super exciting to be able to be involved in that sort of way with one of your biggest passions in life.
100%. So the question then becomes then, Hal, is that knowing that the launch is coming up in October, after that happens, where can folks get a hold of it?
Well, it's going to start, like, we're going to have a site called Hide the Tide Outdoors. We are working on an e-commerce site right now where you'll be able to go and pick up, you know, lifestyle apparel and stuff like that. Fanatics will be carrying it. I don't know if they'll have it that quick, but Fanatics is working on it as well. So you'll be able to get Hide the Tide lifestyle apparel on Fanatics as well. As soon as I get a date, I'll get it to you, and you guys can get it out to everybody. But I am just, like, blown away that I'm able to do this.
Right, most definitely. No, I'm right there with you. And so one last question here before we get ready to wrap up here. So moving into, you know, not just the stuff that you got with U of A and not just the generalized stuff that you got with Zippy, but, you know, a story you were telling us off the air here, and this is one of the best parts that makes Burning Rubber, you know, universal for everybody, is that you also do some stuff with renovations and other things like that. And you had just recently finished taping one of your TV shows in regards to home renovation and other things like that, and the family was uniquely moved by everything when they saw the finished product. So while we've got just a couple of minutes left with you for the week, tell us about that project.
Well, I want to first say that if it wasn't for Drop Zone and Greg Zippadelli, Renovation Hunters would have never happened. So I have to put prerequisite that Drop Zone is the mothership, right?
Gotcha.
But Renovation Hunters was an opportunity. The outdoors has been really good for me, right? And it was a chance for me to give back. And so we started a TV show that we go and renovate the place that gets people outdoors. It might be their hunting camp, might be a fishing camp. It may just be a mountain house where the families go and enjoy nature. It doesn't have to be hunting. But all these places have been passed down. These hunting camps, fishing camps, and mountain cabins have been passed down year after year, generation after generation. some of them start getting dilapidated, and some of the families can't afford to fix them, don't have the know-how, don't have the time. And we want to make sure that everybody has access to the outdoor resources, because if we don't, they're going to go away, right, if we don't use them. Mm-hmm. So in comes Renovation Hunters. It was one idea that I had of many millions that actually worked.
Very cool.
And so I am so pleased. We're in our third season. We just finished the last episode of our third season. We have truly changed the lives of a lot of families. And when we did the reveal on this one, the people almost went to their knees in Pennsylvania. Before that, we were in Mississippi. I mean, we've done them in Nebraska, all over the country. And what we do is we have people send in to renovationhunters.com. You go in there, and there's a place to enter your submission, and they have to send a video of a compelling story of why we should come renovate their place. We find the most compelling stories, the ones that deserve it, the people that really need a break in life, and we go do it 100% for free. We do the habitat, we do the house, the structure, everything, and on top of that, guys, we do the whole renovation in 8 days.
Wow.
And it's a total turnaround. You can't get a deck on the back of your house built in 8 days.
You can't even get a construction crew on the highway done in 8 days.
No, you're right. You're right. But,
more like
we're different than any reno show out there. We're different than any of them. We do it in 8 days. We do it right. This is high quality stuff. And all these families we've done it for are now Renovation Hunter family. They are just, man, they're so loyal to us, but it's just such a great feeling. It is a hard week. I mean, it's 16, 18-hour days of elbows up. I mean, the whole time. But it has been an awesome way to give back to the outdoors and to families, and truly being able to make a mark, in your life that you said, you know what, that's something I did right.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff, cool. Hal. And, I'll tell you what, with that all being said, I hate the fact that we've got to get ready to take a commercial break here, because I'm sure me and John could probably fill up another, God knows, 10, 20 minutes just talking about some fun stuff with you. But before we let you go, though, there is a tradition we want to get you in on. And knowing your background in motorsports, I'm going to probably ask one of the stupidest questions of this interview. You know who the Herminator is, right?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, he started this tradition for us back in 2008. Grabbed the mic out of our one of our hosts, Andy DeLay's hand. Andy's not here with us this week, but Kenny grabbed the mic out of his hand at Kentucky and shouted "Burning Rubber, baby!" at the top of his lungs, and that tradition has stuck now for 17 years. And we get everybody, drivers, crew chiefs, pit crew guys. We've even had Larry Mack and Jeff Hammond give it to us.
Right.
So
Jeff Bodine did the other day
Jeff
too.
Hammond show me up.
Well, okay, so you can't let Jeff Hammond show you up. But now here's the thing to that, Hal, is that Jeff, when he did his most recently, he tried to do his in the style of Larry McReynolds, because Larry Mack's a big Roll Tide guy. So the question is, you think you can top a Larry Mack BRR?
Well, he does a lot more radio than I do. But I actually did 10 years of radio before I got into TV. So
wow,
we could. I'm saying, I feel sure we can do something pretty good for him.
All right. Well, whenever you're ready, buddy, a big old burning rubber, baby.
You got it. Burning rubber, baby. Roll. Tide. Roll.
I dare say that definitely tops Jeff Hammond.
Come on.
I would dare say that definitely tops Jeff Hammond. Well, folks, with that said here, we are going to step aside. We're going to take that next commercial break and take a quick pit stop here. But when we come back, I know Hal likes to eat, because you got to have some good food if you're having good bourbon. When we come back, the NASCAR chef, John Dix, in the house.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
because all children deserve joy
and hope
and love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
The grill is fired up, and the chef has something good cooking. It's the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber, producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dixon. Where'd Taylor go, John?
I think he's helping Andy catch that damn duck.
He must be, because I mean he left out right after news of the week and everything like that. Like he bolted out of here. I figured I'd give him a few minutes to come back before I started to announce that we need to get an alert out for him too.
Yeah, it was good to have TB back. But
yeah,
anyways.
It was. Yeah, it really was. But on that note here, we have got to get into getting some good cooking on the way. And not going to lie, this one, I don't know whether I'm going to have to get ready to fart one good or if it's just going to do something else to the old rumbly tumbly.
Woo. Well, here goes the segment in the garbage again. But having said that, guys, we're going to get a hold of JR the Shrimp Pimp and get some shrimp. Now, check out JR on Facebook, and he has some good shrimp out there, and he'll bring it to you or send it to you. But this week, guys, we are going to do a shrimp salad on croissants.
Ooh.
Now, this is really tasty. It's light for the summertime, and we're going to start with 3 cups of cooked, deveined, and peeled shrimp, a half a cup of celery, a half a cup of black onions. You want to chop both of them up, a half a cup of green or white onions. I like the white onion. A lot of people use the green, but white has a little sharper taste, and I like those. And 2 hard-boiled eggs, which is optional if you're allergic to eggs, so don't use those. Anyways, and we're also, now for the dressing, we're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning, a half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce.
Wash your sister sauce?
Yeah, say that quick 10 times. And 8 croissants, and you split those in half. Now, in a bowl, you want to combine the first 4 ingredients and then stir in your eggs if you got them. And then in another bowl, or in that bowl, you want to mix together the dressing ingredients, toss them gently, cover it and chill overnight or for at least a couple hours. Spread it on the croissants and serve them, and guys, it's really good. Now, in the picture, for you guys on TV, you'll see that I got some spinach on the bottom of that. So you can add some spinach. You can add lettuce, romaine lettuce, iceberg lettuce, whatever you like. Even maybe a slice of tomato. But this is a good, light, tasty recipe for the summertime. And again, don't forget to get your shrimp from JR the Shrimp Pimp.
Not gonna lie, John. I mean, I've already lost 50 pounds with Andy not here this week, but that one will probably cost me at least another 10 or 20, considering I'm not a huge fan of all the mayonnaise and all the other mess on there.
Well, Wayne, you can get the light mayonnaise. They have that. But if you're not a mayonnaise fan, then I don't know. Send me some ideas because I have no idea.
No, realistically, you know what I would do with something like that? Instead of making that into a salad, what I would honestly do is just hang the shrimp around the rim glass and have a little bit of marinara there and just call it a day.
There you go.
And
the rim glass that's covered with bourbon. Is that what you're saying, Wayne?
Oh yeah. Especially after talking with Hal about the bourbon bar, man. That got me intrigued.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go see over our buddy Hal and visit him and check out that bourbon he was bragging about.
Yep. Oh, I know the bourbon he was talking about. I've had some of it before, and good stuff. Good stuff.
But guys, if you have any ideas or any suggestions, you can get a hold of me at john@brrtv.net. That is john@brrtv.net. Give me some comments, some ideas. Send me some recipes, and we'll give you a shout out. And we'll have a lot of fun with it, gang.
Yeah, most definitely. And then again, folks, here, take a good quick look on the full screen view of the recipe. And folks, if you're listening on the radio, whether it be WTHU in Thurmont, Maryland, Sunshine 96.7, Florida Sports Stream, WTUC in Toccoa, Georgia, any of our other radio affiliates. If you're wondering where you can get this recipe, on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio, or on rumble.com, search for Burning Rubber Radio as well. And make sure to like the channel and subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and again, like John said, shoot him an email, john@brrtv.net, john@brrtv.net, with a recipe, and who knows, next week's recipe that's on the screen right now could very well be yours. But with that said,
absolutely,
we're going to step aside. We're going to take that final pit stop of the show here, get one quick gas and go. And when we come back, John, we have got some final news of the week to touch on here. And I'm kind of looking forward to this one because we've got some NHRA news here from this past weekend in Seattle. Some good, some not so good. We'll be touching on it all when we come back.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber, producer Wade, NASCAR chef John Dix, and I'll tell you what, John, it has been uniquely beautiful not having to hear Andy fart all the time when we're off the air.
Okay, uniquely beautiful. Okay, I'm not sure if that's the description I would have used, but I guess it'll work.
Okay then, Mr. Hooked on Phonics, what would you have used?
Oh Lord, don't even ask me.
Exactly. See, you couldn't even think of one to begin with. But either way, here we gotta get back into some final news of the week here for everything. And folks, again, we've got a 2-week break coming up here, so NASCAR is on its summer break for the next 2 weeks, and then we come back in the middle of August with Richmond Raceway, which again is gonna prove to always be a good race, especially since it's at night this time around. Right. And good stuff all the way around.
A good race, yeah.
But
we're not doing picks this week, guys. But my pick is USA at the Olympics. So.
Oh Lordy, yeah. I keep forgetting about that. That's why we have the 2-week break, is because the freaking Summer Olympics. Like, come on.
Yep. I don't know if you know this, Wayne, but I just want to share this with the guys out there. In 1984, I went to the Olympics. I represented the United States as a firefighter in the 23rd Olympiad in L.A. And it was pretty interesting to be around that, and it was pretty cool. We actually, as firemen, stood by in a secured area. Back then is when the Cold War was still going on, and all the third world and eastern countries that flew planes in, we had to secure them and had to secure a couple of the venues for the Olympics. So it was pretty neat to be part of that,
That actually is kind of interesting, come to think of it, but... Either which way here, we've got to get ourselves back in the news of the week here, and news we have got for everybody here. And speaking of controversy, John, and there was more than just controversy in NASCAR this past weekend. There was also some controversy in F1 here, where team orders came into play during Sunday's Hungarian Grand Prix. And despite the fact that the winning McLaren team swept the top 2 positions, Oscar Piastri was the one who dominated the race after taking the lead on the green flag, but needed team officials to order his teammate Lando Norris to let him pass in order to become the 7th different Formula One winner this season. Now,
got his first win, Wayne.
He got his first win, but in all fairness and honesty, and I've got a second here to get up on the soapbox. Team orders should never be a thing.
No, I agree. I mean,
Formula One
out, but
Formula One is already wine and cheese enough as it is, where, you got teams spending billions of dollars every single year on these cars. The FIA requires such strict guidelines on how big your bank account has to be, and this and that and that and this and this and that. And I'm just going to be completely honest here. Piastri had the fastest car. There's no doubt about it. I caught the end of the race.
Absolutely.
But when you've got a driver like Lando Norris, who, while he might not have been the fastest car, he had the skill set to keep Piastri behind him. And so at that point, those team orders should have been said to, pretty much, I'm not going to lie to you, if I would have been Norris, I would have said, F you, I'm winning this race.
Yeah, I don't know how that all plays out. I do know that F1 still fills the stands every week. If you look at the grandstands, unlike our 11 NASCAR, which I didn't talk about that earlier, but I wanted to say that the elephant in the room at the Indy race this weekend was the very lack of actual fans at the race. It was just, I've been to that race before, and it was terrible.
Yeah, no, it was the fan turnout for the Cup race this past weekend was lackadaisical, and not that good. Just not that good all the way around. But again,
anyways,
but still with the Formula One stuff though, again, it doesn't matter if it's NASCAR, it doesn't matter if it's IndyCar, it doesn't matter if it's Formula One, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have a driver, regardless if they are the fastest on the track, if you have your teammate who clearly is outmaneuvering you, that guy still deserves to get that race win. I don't care who the hell you are.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wayne. Absolutely. I don't know. It is what it is. But anyways, so tell me what you were telling me off the air about NHRA. I didn't see any NHRA this weekend.
Yeah, so there's actually a little bit of NHRA news that came across the horn this past weekend here. And they were actually up in Seattle for everything this weekend here. And speaking of JFR, some more good news for JFR here. Austin Prock takes home the funny car Wally from this past weekend. And Steve Torrance gets himself the top fuel Wally. And good stuff all the way around this week. Hal Shaffer coming in and talking to us. We've got a brand new bourbon bar now we get to go check out. We had Taylor Burris back in here for a couple of seconds. I lost 50 pounds of stress not having Andy sitting next to me farting all show long. this all around, this has been a good day, a good week.
Yeah, very, very few air wrenches, and you just make sure you stay away from that bourbon. I saw before Hal left, he slid you something across the table there. So.
He certainly did. So the cool part to our guests, folks, is we have them over in a separate room, and we just get them on a phone call and make life easy. But as Hal was leaving the studio, while we were talking off the air and everything, he slid me a bottle of that beautiful, beautiful old bourbon that he had tucked away for a little while. So we're going to go have some fun later tonight.
There you go.
And but with that said, speaking of having fun here, folks, we have got to get ourselves out of here for another week of Burning Rubber on all of our affiliate radio and TV stations, youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio, rumble.com, search for Burning Rubber Radio. And until next week, Burning Rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of White Lightning Entertainment with studios in Statesville, North Carolina, and was brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching, it's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. This week's show was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio can be seen on Rumble, YouTube, or wingding.tv and heard on radio stations nationwide. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be the express written permission of White Lightning Entertainment.